World War II wasn't just the deadliest conflict in history, it was also the most personal. Millions of soldiers carried weapons that became more than just tools of war. To many veterans, those rifles and pistols symbolized survival, victory, or simply a reminder of the men they fought beside. When the war ended, thousands of troops wanted to bring home a tangible piece of that experience, and for many, that meant their weapons. While some of these bringbacks were perfectly legal with paperwork, others slipped home quietly, hidden in duffel bags or crates marked personal effects. Today, these firearms aren't just relics, they're time capsules. Here are 7 timeless World War II guns that veterans loved to bring home, and the stories they carried with them. Few war souvenirs are as iconic as the German Luger P08. Its sleek, toggle-lock design and crisp engineering made it one of the most recognizable pistols in the world. To Allied soldiers, capturing a Luger wasn't just luck, it was bragging rights. Many troops risked their lives trying to grab one off a surrendered or fallen German officer. The pistol's distinct silhouette became a symbol of the enemy, but also of victory over them. Some veterans brought Lugers home with pride, storing them away in boxes for decades. Today, an authentic battlefield Luger with bringback papers can fetch thousands. As the war dragged on, Germany needed a cheaper, more efficient sidearm. The result was the Walther P38, a rugged and reliable 9mm pistol that replaced the costly Luger. For Allied troops, the P38 quickly became just as desirable. Many soldiers said it felt more modern, easier to maintain, and honestly, surprisingly accurate. When troops found one abandoned in a bunker or on a captured officer, they often tucked it away as a prize. The P38 became so popular as a war souvenir that customs agents and MPs had to enforce stricter rules near the end of the war to prevent smuggling. Still, countless examples made it home, often passed from veteran to son, and from son to grandson, a family heirloom forged in history. To many American soldiers in the Pacific, the Nambus pistol was one of the most coveted trophies of all. Its unusual design, with its long, thin barrel and awkward safety, fascinated GIs who'd never seen anything like it. But the Nambus was more than just a curiosity. It really represented the brutal island-to-island fighting that, defined the Pacific War. Veterans often describe finding them in caves, bunkers, or on defeated Japanese officers. Though it was less reliable than its German counterparts, the Nambus' rarity made it a prized piece back home. Many were displayed on mantles or just stored away in trunks, as tangible reminders of battles fought thousands of miles away. If there was one weapon that defined the German infantryman, it was the Karabiner 98K, or simply the K98. Chambered in 7.92 by 57mm, it was accurate, powerful, and built to last. Allied soldiers often picked up K98s from abandoned positions or captured armories. Some even mailed them home legally through war trophy programs that were set up late in the conflict. For many returning soldiers, a captured K98 wasn't just a gun, it was a story. They'd show their kids how it worked, pointing out the precision German engineering and the faded eagle markings on the receiver. Even decades later, these rifles remained prize pieces in collections, representing the skill, and, honestly, the tragedy of the soldiers who once carried them. While many veterans brought back enemy weapons, some simply couldn't part with their own. The M1 Garand, famously called the greatest battle implement ever devised by General George S. Patton, earned a place in the hearts of United States soldiers everywhere. The Garand's semi-automatic fire gave American infantrymen a massive advantage in combat. For many, it was their lifeline, a weapon that never let them down. When it came time to turn them in, a few soldiers found quiet ways to keep theirs. Whether through paperwork errors or intentional oversight, some M1s followed their owners home. Today, an M1 Garand with a verified World War II serial and veteran provenance is one of the most valuable heirlooms a family can possess. The Sten submachine gun wasn't pretty. It was cheap, crude, and built from stamped metal parts, but that simplicity made it easy to produce and easy to hide. British and Commonwealth troops, as well as members of the French resistance, used the Sten to devastating effect. Because it was so compact, it became one of the few automatic weapons small enough to smuggle home. Some veterans reportedly disassembled their Stens, mailing the parts separately and reassembling them later. A dangerous move that could have landed them in serious trouble. Still, for many, the Sten symbolized resistance and survival in the darkest days of the war. No weapon represents the American GI quite like the Colt M1911. Durable, powerful, and beautifully simple, the .45 caliber pistol was the trusted companion of countless soldiers, Marines, and paratroopers across every front. You know, many servicemen grew deeply attached to their M1911s. It was the last line of defense in a foxhole, or sometimes even the weapon that saved a comrade's life in close combat. When the war ended, countless soldiers simply couldn't bear to leave it behind. Even decades later, the M1911 remains a favorite among veterans, not just as a weapon, but as a symbol of reliability, courage, and American craftsmanship. Each of these weapons carried more than just bullets. They carried memories, scars, and stories of the men who held them. Some were taken as trophies, others as keepsakes, and a few as reminders of survival against impossible odds. For many WWII veterans, bringing home a gun wasn't about glory or greed, it was about remembrance. These firearms became silent storytellers of a generation that endured the unimaginable. Today, they sit in display cases, attics, or museums, each one a timeless connection to the soldiers who once shouldered them in a world at war.